Welcome to the Bendano Podcast, where we're calling a spade. Great to be here with you guys today. I'm seeing a lot of speculation out there, a lot of predictions, a lot of think pieces alluding to maybe this Caitlin Clark back issue is going to hover her career for the rest of her career. Maybe this Caitlin Clark back issue is more serious than the WNBA and the Indiana Fever want to lead on. Maybe they're keeping it, it's just, we're working on it to keep the broadcast partners happy, to keep the fans saying, it's just...
The medical report landed on the desk, and the room went quiet as Stephanie White reviewed the data with visible concern. Reports regarding Caitlin Clark's back issue have raised serious concerns within the Indiana Fever organization, and the situation appears more complicated than initially suggested. This is not simply about a missed game or short-term performance dip. It signals a deeper issue that the team is now closely monitoring. For the franchise, the concern is how it could affect both competitiveness and the broader business outlook surrounding the league's biggest star. If the issue persists, it could have significant implications for momentum, media attention, and long-term growth projections across the WNBA. Teams are now watching developments with increasing caution and urgency.
It's every 8 games. And this 27-5, 28-6 is the new norm for Caitlin Clark. If that's what we're looking at, the WNBA should be very concerned. The WNBA should be very concerned. The broadcast partners, they didn't sign up for that. The broadcast partners did not sign up for 27-5, 28-6. The broadcast partners signed up for 25-10-8, 25-12-6. That's what the broadcast partners.
The numbers were meant to be a victory lap for Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. A massive $3.1 billion media rights deal was announced, signaling what looked like a new era of growth for the WNBA and its place in professional sports. But behind the celebration, there is a less discussed reality. Broadcast partners did not commit those billions purely out of admiration for the league's history or long-term potential. A major part of the value was tied to the Caitlin Clark effect and her ability to drive ratings, headlines, and audience engagement at an unprecedented level. Now, that reliance has created concern, as the entire investment feels increasingly dependent on one player's availability and continued impact.
That's what the broadcast partners signed up for. A 30 bomb every 4 to 5 games. That's what the broadcast partners signed up for. This new media rights deal is being reported at over $3 billion. But if these people with the speculation is right, if their predictions are correct, if this is something that's going to linger throughout her career and affect her game to where we get a diminished Caitlin Clark, well, as soon as these broadcast partners can revisit the deal that they just signed, they're going to revisit it, and they're going to be offering a lot.
There's growing speculation around Caitlin Clark's back issue and how it may be affecting performance. Some observers believe the league and team are managing communications carefully to avoid overreaction from fans and sponsors. The WNBA's growth and media expectations have intensified scrutiny on every update. On court, Clark has at times looked less explosive than during her college career, which has led to broader discussion about workload adaptation and recovery at the professional level. For a league heavily driven by star power, any uncertainty around a key player naturally fuels conversation about broader business implications and long-term stability. This has led to ongoing debate across media and fan circles alike.
Step back. If this back issue is a real thing, if this back issue is more severe than we're being told, then it makes sense why they went and got Raven Johnson to point guard. Well, then it makes sense why they changed the offense from pick and rolls to whatever the hell they're doing now. Well, it makes sense why they're pushing Sabrina and Asia and Paige and all these other players not named Caitlin Clark, because they know, we don't know yet, they know that this is something that's going to be lingering and hampering her game. It's an interesting perspective. The league has added more than $900 million in new deals since...
The networks didn't sign up for an average player who puts up 27-5 every few nights. They signed up for a box office sensation, dropping 30-point explosions every other game. They paid for logo shots and highlight reel assists that go viral instantly. If this back issue forces Clark into a more conservative, diminished style, the product value drops. Broadcast partners are already watching numbers and wondering if they bought a Ferrari stuck in second gear. The disappointment is palpable and pressure on Clark to play through pain is rising to an all-time high. But expectations remain sky-high as every performance is now under intense scrutiny, league-wide attention.
It wasn't the WNBA didn't secure this deal. The NBA secured the deal and gave it to Kathy. Kathy Engelbert wasn't in the negotiating rooms. Adam Silver was in the negotiating rooms, and this is what he got. And then he talked to Kathy Engelbert, and that's what he decided to give Kathy. To be honest here, the WNBA's 11-year deal is worth $3.1 billion with partners Disney, NBC Universal, Paramount, Amazon Prime, Scripps, USA Sports, and NBTV. A source familiar with the league's deals confirms the front office stories. The average annual value of the new media deal is $281 million, about 6.5 times more than the previous deals.
There's a clause in the new media rights contracts that many fans are not aware of. These agreements include potential reset provisions that could come into effect after the third season, around 2028. If viewership numbers fall short of expectations, or the league's overall star-driven appeal declines, broadcasters may have the option to reopen negotiations. This means the reported $3.1 billion deal is not entirely fixed long-term money, but partially tied to sustained performance and audience growth. As a result, continued interest from major stars is a key factor in maintaining that valuation. Any prolonged absence or reduced impact from top players could increase pressure on the league's future media economics and stability.
The WNBA has since added USA Sports and renewed deals with Scripps and Paramount to get to $3.1 billion. I believe Scripps is Ion. I could be wrong, but I think that's Ion. The deals come with reset provisions after the third season. If triggered, the sides can renegotiate the terms of the deal, including the length and cost, but it's unclear whether the provisions can be triggered by the league, its partners, or both. The deals come with reset provisions after the third season. So after 2028, they're going to be taking a look at this deal. They're going to be box score watching, checking out the viewership numbers. I'm interested to see what these ratings look like for this game. Very interesting.
It makes sense why the Indiana Fever made moves like bringing in Raven Johnson at point guard. From a strategic standpoint, it suggests they are preparing for situations where the workload on Caitlin Clark may need to be reduced or redistributed. The team has experimented with different offensive looks compared to the high-volume pick-and-roll style they were previously known for, and the adjustments have been noticeable. While publicly the organization continues to express confidence in their direction, the on-court changes have sparked discussion about depth and flexibility. Adding another guard option appears aimed at ensuring the team can function even if their primary creator is limited at times, signaling a stronger emphasis on contingency planning and roster balance.
Checking out the viewership numbers. I'm interested to see what these ratings look like for this game. Very interested. Very interested. Needs to be over 2 million, by the way. Needs to be over 2 million for this return game. I'm just letting you know now. Needs to be over 2 million. It's 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. I'm not doing a happy dance. If I'm the broadcast partners or myself, I'm not doing a happy dance. They better hope that this back injury isn't as serious as some people are speculating, because it's going to hurt them at the negotiation tables when these broadcast partners come back to it. And if the broadcast partners say, well...
The league is also working to elevate other stars like Sabrina Ionescu, Aya Wilson, and Paige Buchers as part of a broader effort to diversify its appeal. It reflects an understanding that relying too heavily on one player creates long-term risk for the entire product. If Caitlin Clark is unavailable or limited, ratings and engagement naturally feel the impact. Broadcast partners are already watching closely to see whether spikes in attendance and viewership can remain stable when headline performances are missing. The WNBA is attempting to build a deeper pool of marketable talent across multiple teams rather than depending on a single focal point. But the pressure remains high because Clark has become the primary driver of attention, and any uncertainty around her only intensifies concern among media partners and stakeholders.
I think I paid for 18 subscriptions and I still haven't cut the cable cord. To be fair, Kathy, you're not the NBA. You're not the NFL. You don't have people tuning in to watch the product just via habit. That's not the case. Even heading into year 3, that is not the case. You don't have the luxury that the big dogs have. Major League Baseball is going through a little bit of a resurgence, going through a renaissance right now. They, right now, don't even have the luxury. Games are on Apple TV? Who knows? Games on Amazon Prime? Who knows? Games on USA? I'm watching.
Let's look at the numbers, because they reveal a clear imbalance in how modern sports media deals are structured. The NBA secured a massive $77 billion media rights agreement, while the WNBA's portion of the broader ecosystem comes in at roughly the $2.3 billion range, depending on how different agreements are accounted for. On paper, that represents a major step forward for the women's game, even if it is still a small fraction compared to the NBA's overall value. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert is often the public face of the league's growth, while NBA Commissioner Adam Silver plays a central role in shaping the broader media landscape that the WNBA operates within. The recent deals, which include partners like CBS, Disney/ESPN, and Amazon Prime Video, reflect a significant increase in exposure and distribution compared to previous contracts. In fact, the league's average annual media value has increased dramatically compared to earlier agreements, marking one of the biggest financial jumps in its history. But with that growth comes higher expectations. When a league expands its media footprint to hundreds of nationally televised games, the pressure to consistently deliver strong ratings naturally increases. Every broadcast partner is investing with the expectation that viewership will continue trending upward, especially during high-interest matchups. A major part of that attention has centered around Caitlin Clark, whose arrival has significantly boosted ratings, ticket sales, and national coverage. As a result, nearly every Indiana Fever game being placed on national television is not accidental. It reflects the league's understanding of where much of its current audience interest is concentrated. The concern among some observers is that if viewership dips during games where star performances are limited, it could create short-term fluctuations in audience engagement. However, comparing the WNBA directly to leagues like the NFL or MLB requires context. Those leagues benefit from decades of established fan loyalty, generational followings, and deeply rooted viewing habits. The WNBA is still in a relatively earlier stage of building that kind of long-term, automatic audience behavior. Its growth is still heavily influenced by emerging stars and evolving narratives rather than tradition alone. The league has also significantly expanded its national exposure, with a large percentage of regular season games now available on national or major streaming platforms. That level of visibility is higher than some other major leagues in terms of proportion. But visibility alone does not guarantee consistent rating strength. The challenge is ensuring that increased access translates into sustained audience interest across a wide range of teams and matchups. Ultimately, the WNBA's current media position reflects both opportunity and pressure. The league is more visible than ever, more widely distributed than ever, and more commercially supported than ever before. At the same time, it is still developing the depth of star power and long-term viewing habits that sustain major sports ecosystems over time.